people who have gone to school and gotten their PhDs and stuff in African American history and stuff, that does not mean that they know everything about African American history. Matter of fact, people who go to school and gain their PhDs in any type of history, it does not mean that they know everything about history. And the reason is that most of those people who do get their PhDs in history, whether it be African American history or Native American or whatever, many of them don't go beyond the traditional text. Okay, what has been shaped, okay, and placed inside the textbook, approved, not approved. You see what I'm saying? Included, excluded. Okay, and that's a problem. Okay, because I recall a PhD. I went to school for this and I have my doctorate, and she was really going in on me, right? And then I told her something that her PhD did not teach her. And she immediately went silent. And I didn't just tell it to her, I showed it to her. Immediately, she went silent. I don't hold a PhD in African American studies. I just read it. I read it directly from the source. I don't tend to go into textbooks, shaped textbooks, and read it. If I do go into shaped textbooks and read it, it is because I already know it. I want a summary. That's what I use. I need a summary. But if I really want to go in detail about a time frame, I go directly to the source. I go directly to the black newspapers. I go directly to that author. I will find the book, read the book, because we had thousands of black American authors, thousands of them. Okay. You would think that the shaped history books put that in there. They don't. They just say, oh, most black Americans could not read because of slavery. See what I'm saying? And then they overlook the thousands of literary geniuses of black America. And so, they skip over the holidays. For instance, black America have had holidays prior to Juneteenth. Oh yeah. You know, we had celebrations. Yeah, we did. One of my favorites I like to bring up, because somehow they leave this out. It's like they leave it out. African American Emancipation Day. There was a whole celebration, yearly celebration. And the history books just leave that out. It's right there. Boom. Right there. Biggest day. And many of the leaders, black American leaders and politicians of the 1800s, yeah, they were very much aware of it and spoke at the event. And it was planned and set up. Everything was going on. Everything was planned, done by black American people. They always had celebrations. But in regular textbooks, in shaped textbooks, they're not going to talk about it. Even PhDs will be like, what? What? Yeah, they don't know. There's so much. There's so much. It's so many goodies out there that people just don't know. I try and add people like John Knight, John Don Juan Knight on blackentrepreneur.history.com. Which is, I'm the founder of blackentrepreneur.history.com, because I like to focus on the business aspect, all the black business owners that black America have had throughout the centuries that are overlooked. We've had many, okay? They are really overlooked. and the narrative is all jacked up, okay? All jacked up. But this is why I started that site. But yeah, and people like, you will never hear, and this is big news, okay? This is something that should always be included in Black American history, but it is not. It should be included in all history books. An enslaved man from the state of Alabama went on to become known as the financial ruler of the Central American states because he had that much money. He had that much money that they borrowed from him just to stay afloat. Yeah. And they just don't, it's like, whoop, gone. But I wrote about him at blackentrepreneur.history.com. And you will never hear, I mean, you'll just never hear about it. We have black American explorers, everything. Everything. And also, and if we get off of Black American history, they tend to, if you want to just talk about just a regular old overall American history, right? They leave out a lot of the abolitionists from Black America and white America. I notice they leave out a lot of them. A lot. And there were so many. There were so many who got beat, killed, locked up, everything. Women and men. And they don't talk about it. So much. It's so much. So whenever you're talking to someone who's a quote unquote scholar of Black American history, just remember that you may just be getting something that's shaped. If you really want to get the goods, you're going to have to read it on your own, which is why I try to bring it from, I will bring the proof when I have it. I will bring the proof because I don't just say stuff off the side of my, if you follow me, yeah, I'm not going to say something that I have not read from the source. And so whenever you're talking to someone about Black American history, or history, period, remember some of that story they aren't telling. And it's not because they're not trying to or they're trying to hide it. It's because they just really don't know. They honestly really don't know. And the history books in schools, all the way up through college, aren't really trying to update it. So the history that most of us learn is more than likely not updated. But there is so much to learn if you just go to the source. And the source is always there. From the Black aristocracy of the United States of America to Black Americans of New York having white servants to, I mean, it's there. They just don't write about it because they want to shape a certain narrative and they want that narrative to stay that way.